Good afternoon, beautiful people of the world. Good afternoon. It is Friday, March 21st, 2025. And today is a special day. It is my mother's 81st birthday. Today, March 21st. It's such a blessing. It is a blessing to still have my mom here at 81 years of age. Many of you all know my dad died about 8 years ago in 2016. And you know, it's been hard because I don't want to make this about my father's death, but my father did not get a chance to see 80. So to still have one parent here that has passed the age that he was when he passed, because my dad was 76 or 75 or something like that when he died. No, he died in 2016. He was 76. Right, he was 76. So he didn't make it to 80. And you know, I wish that he had, so we could have given him a party. I just wish that, you know, he had been here, you know. And so I'm so grateful and I am so thankful to have my mother still here at 81. Y'all know, y'all seen my mama on video. Y'all know my mama is a spry little chick. My mother drives me crazy sometimes. She gets on my nerves. She makes me mad and vice versa. But that is my girl. That is my girl. And I could not ask for a better mother, a better friend, a better woman to have taught me how to be a woman. My mother has not always agreed with all of my decisions that I have made and the people that I have made them with, but she has stuck with me and she's been here with me. And because March is Women's History Month, and I asked you all to honor a woman this month that means something to you in your life, I am honoring Diane Cotton. And she's been Diane Cotton for the last almost 60 some plus years, because she you know, married my dad when she was really young. And you know, she has just, my mother is a very strong, faithful woman. She plays no games. My mother, just to tell you all a little history of my mother. My mother was born March 21st, 1944, I believe. The 1944 and 1945. And my mother is one of 9 children. She is the second child out of 9. And because she is the oldest girl in that family, she took on a lot of responsibility. She took on a lot of responsibility of siblings that she mothered, that she took care of. And she also became someone who just was, everybody always would come to her for advice, for money, for whatever, and she was there. She had a lot of responsibilities on her as a young child, but was very smart, very creative, very talented. She got married when she was 18 for the very first time to her high school sweetheart. And she named my youngest uncle out of 9, she named him after her high school sweetheart. That's how he got his name. And a funny story about that, the high school sweetheart's mother thought that that baby was her son and my mom's baby. And she was convinced until my mother told her, you need to come over to my mother's house. This is not our baby. This is not my baby. She thought that my mother had been pregnant and you know, hid somewhere and then had this baby. But it was my grandmother's baby. My grandmother had her last child. She was either 42 or 43, something like that. But nevertheless, my mother took care of all of those siblings under her. She was like, you know, the mom. My mother then remarried my father, and out of that union came 2 children, myself and my oldest sister. And my mother and father were married for 59 years, or 50 years, would have been 50 years had he not passed. They were married. They were good parents. They loved us. My mother was the type of parent that, you know, she let you know this is the way that it's gonna be. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you think I'm too strict. I don't care, because this is my house and these are my rules, and as long as I'm taking care of you, this is what you're gonna do. And that is what we did. My mother has been through a lot. She's been through a lot. She's had to go through some things that I know I have personally witnessed, and that was the loss. And it's just so hard for me not to cry, but the loss of her mother and her stepfather, because he was not her father, he was her stepfather. I watched my mother be strong through all of that. I watched my mother keep the family together. She's lost 2 sisters. A sister that was right up under her, Brenda, and then her baby sister, both to cancer. I've watched her go through that. And then the hardest thing that I've watched her go through, the most hardest thing that I watched her go through was when my father died. And I watched her grieve. And I watched her be strong. Even in the midst of that, she still was trying to be strong for us and for her grandchildren and for even his family. She was strong. She's always been that glue. I think the 2 hardest, well, with death, I think the hardest things I've seen her go through was the loss of her mother, so tragically, and her stepfather, who she loved like a father, because her father died when I was like 10. So I knew him. I knew who he was, and I knew him. But he wasn't in my life as long as my who I considered, you know, my grandfather, because that's who I really grew up with. That's who I was around. I was not around him as much as I was the stepfather, that was my grandfather. You know, he wasn't bloodline, he wasn't my grandfather, but he was my grandfather. And to this day, I will always call him my grandfather, because that's how I looked. That's how I looked at him. You know, I was crazy about him. And so she mourned him as well. She loved him as well. And I think that was hard. And then when her sister died, I watched her go through that. And then her other sister died, and I watched her go through that. And then her husband, who she had children with, who she bought a house with, who she had all these years with, good or bad or indifferent, they stayed together. They did not divorce. You know, they stayed together. They made it work, whatever way they needed to make it work, they made it work. And, you know, I honor her and I have a lot of respect for her as a woman. I would not be who I am without her. My mother was always very straightforward. She was always diplomatic. She was always somebody that you could reason with, within reason. But my mother was a person who just told you like it was. She didn't really care if she hurt your feelings or not, to be honest with you. She just was like, hey, this is how it is, you know, and either you can accept it or you can't, you know. It wasn't that she was trying to hurt my feelings or trying to, you know, make me feel bad, but my mother was just the type of person that she was just gonna give it to you in the raw. She was gonna be truthful with you. My mother helped so many people overcome drug addiction and alcoholism. I many times, one of the reasons why I never ever did drugs and I never drank and never had the desire to do those things was because my mother poured and poured and poured into me about drug addiction, about alcohol. Not only did she pour it into me, she took me around people who were struggling with addiction. So I got to see it firsthand what it was like to struggle with addiction and to be addicted to heroin, cocaine, marijuana, alcohol. I was there. I went to the meetings. I went to the conventions. I went to the conferences. And I was not bored or that I did not want to go. I was intrigued and I was interested. But she would talk about, you know, what drugs would and what drugs would and what drugs could do to you, and what your life would be like if you became addicted to drugs. I was very proud of her because one time she came up to my high school and talked to my school. I don't know if she remembered that, but I remember that she talked to the students about drug addiction. And you know, you can't save everybody from going into that type of lifestyle, but she saved a lot of people from drug addiction. And I admired that. And I saw how people loved her. They really, really loved her. They would come up to me and say, your mom is so wonderful. Your mom helped me. Your mom didn't judge me. Your mom loved on me. And a lot of the people that she counseled and helped through that process, that's what they wanted. That's what they wanted. That's what they needed. They needed love. And so not only did she give them tough love and real love about them being addicted, she loved on them, you know, and she made them realize that, listen, this is a disease, but you can overcome this. You can stay clean. And I watched her talk and give, you know, seminars, you know, about drug addiction and what drugs could and would do to you. And I am so grateful that I had somebody. I'm so grateful that I had somebody in my life that showed me and taught me about the real life or struggles about drug addiction. And so I feel and I know and I'm grateful that I'm glad. I guess what I'm saying is that people choose a career, but they don't know that the career that they choose and how it's going to help the people in their family. And it helped me. You know, it helped me. And so she went to college and she got a degree in that, and in counseling, and she worked as a director, and she did many things. And then she went on to CHA, another company, and she wrote grants for the Chicago Housing Authority, you know. And you know, I am just so thankful. I'm so grateful that she's here. You know, I'm thankful, and I'm grateful that she was strict. I'm grateful and thankful that she was mean. I'm grateful and thankful that she played no games and that she was stern, because I just know without a shadow of a doubt that I would not be who I am. I didn't understand, and I could not understand what type of woman she was or what type of mother she was until I did two things. Until I became a woman and until I became a mother. And then I really understood who Diane was. And it's only until you become something that somebody has already been that you can really understand the struggle and what they went through in life. Amen, somebody. Because it's so easy to say, well, you know, they this or they that. But until you become that, and until you have to do that, in which they have already done, do you understand? Do you really understand who they are and who they were? So I could not understand her. I did not know her struggle, and I did not know her story until I had to walk my own path of motherhood and my own path of womanhood. And so those two things, those two dynamics made me have a greater appreciation for her. Those two things made me realize that, girl, now you understand why she wanted to kill you. Now you understand what she was going through being a woman and having to deal with this and having to deal with sexism and racism as a black woman. And now you understand what it's like to have a man hurt you, because she's probably been hurt by a man. Now you understand, because now you a woman, and now all the things that your mother was going through when you didn't really know or you didn't really understand because you were just a kid and you didn't get it, now you get it. And so to be able to still have her here to still guide me, still give me advice, still direct me, still tell me, no, I don't think you should do it that way. Or, no, that's a good idea. Or, yeah, I appreciate what you're saying. You know, I'm thankful. I'm thankful. I am very, very thankful. And so, in me asking you all for Women's History Month, to honor a woman, the woman that I honor today is my mother. And I honor her because today is her birthday, and also because I know her story. I don't know all of it, but I know her because her story has become my story. And my story in life is one of pride and joy because I had the kind of mother that I had. And if I had to do it all over again, and I had to go down the line and I had to pick who I wanted to be my mother, I would not pick anyone else but the one that I have. I don't want a replacement. I don't want somebody that look like her or act like her. I just want the woman that I have, because my mother is amazing. My mother has just, you know, she's done so much in her life with class and with grace. Even in her sorrows, her struggles, she has did it with so much grace and so much style. And you all know that when you look at her, she does not look like she's 81. She does not act like she's 81. She has a lot of life in her. She has a lot of love in her. She has a lot of wisdom. She just, she loves life. She loves to shop. There's so many things that she loves to do. And I'm grateful for her for how she has stepped up and stepped in to help me with my child. And she did it with my sister's children as well. She's a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful grandmother. Wonderful grandmother. She really has taken care of Christopher a lot when I have not been able to take care of him. She's taken care of him when he was sick. A lot of stuff I missed, and I'm glad. I'm just being honest. She stepped in, and went, because I had to work. I couldn't get off work, and she was there when he had that stomach virus. She took care of him. She feeds him. She still thinks about him. She still cooks for him, because I do not. She does a lot. She does a lot. She's bought him clothes. She's bought him, his uniforms. When I lost my job, she stepped in and she helped and she helped and she helped and she helped and she helped. And one thing I can say about my mother that I have always appreciated about her was that one thing that I appreciate about her is that when I have had days that I just didn't know how I was going to make it financially, like with the car, the situation with the car, she stepped in. When I didn't know how I was going to pay my rent because something happened, she stepped in. I don't want her to have to step in with this house. I thank God that I'm in a financial situation where I can pay my house note and I don't have to ask her. But I want to be more financially stable, that I can give her all of that money back. And hopefully, one day, hopefully I will be. But, I just, I'm just grateful for her, and I just thank God that she's still here. And 81 years of life is a long time to be on earth. She's seen a lot, done a lot, experienced a lot in 81 years. But she still looked good for 81. She looked damn good for 81. I see some people that somebody's leaving me a message. I see some people who are not 81, and they look, they look bad. I'm just being honest, But she looks good, she feels good, and I'm just thanking God every day. I thank God every day, every day, every day. I thank him for blessing her to be healthy and to be able to still be able to do the things that she enjoys doing, whatever it may be. I thank God. I thank God that she's not sickly. I thank God that she's not in pain. I thank God that, she says that she's in pain. She's always saying, my back hurt, my shoulder hurt, this hurt, that hurt. And, pains that come along with just being the age, that she is. But thanks be unto God that she is healthy, mentally and physically. She's healthy. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing. That is a blessing. And so, it's just, you just wanna honor. I just want to honor her today. I want to say Happy Women's Day, Women's Month to her. The greatest woman in history for me is her. And I just want to wish her a happy birthday. I hope that it's going to be the best day that it could ever be for her. And I hope that she's here to live until she's 90. I hope she's here. I really do. I hope she's here. And I just have a feeling that she's going to be here because I know things can change, stuff can happen, but I have asked God to just bless her and keep her. And whenever he decides that he wants to take her home to be with him, that, like my dad, I just hope that she slips on away. I don't want her to be in pain or to have some kind of disease that's making her be in pain. That's my prayer. That's my prayer. And honestly, I'm always preparing myself daily for whenever that day may come. And I know I ain't gonna never be prepared. Right? And you never really prepare for that. But I just I have a lot of respect for her. And she probably doesn't think that I do. She probably don't, I don't know. Sometimes parents think that that they're not really appreciated because they feel as though, they're taken advantage of more than they're appreciated because of the things that they do as parents. But I do appreciate her, and I do love her, and I do know that my mother and my father, they taught me how to treat people. They taught me about doing things right. They taught me about having manners. They taught me about having self-worth. They taught me about first respecting myself and then respecting others around me. My mother has taught me how to have compassion. And I learned how to have compassion for people due to seeing her love on people that had addictions and not judging them, but she loved on them, because a lot of those people came from all different types of backgrounds, all different types of walks of life. Some of them had some horrible things that happened to them that caused them to turn to drugs and alcohol. But in spite of all of that, and them telling their story of what happened and the stories that I would hear, my mother would stand in the middle and in the midst of the room and just hug them. She would hug them. And that's what they needed. I'm gonna tell you all another story, but I'll tell you all this story in another video about something that my mother did. My mother in it had to be 19, either 1976 or 78, 79, somewhere around there. I'm gonna tell you all that story, how my mother saved her whole Girl Scout troop from being murdered. I'll never forget that. My mother has really had some horrific things happen to her. And in the midst of all of those things, she has remained faithful. She has never turned her back on God through everything my mother has ever been through. All I always hear my mother say is, because there's been things I've seen my mother go through, things where I thought my mother was just going to lose her mind. But my mother, and I think there was times that my mother did probably have a mini breakdown after her mother, stepfather, was killed. But my mother used to always say, I trust God. I trust God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to lean on God. That's all I would ever hear her say. I'm sad, but I'm going to trust God. I'm going to lean on God. I'm going to pray. That's all I would hear her say. I never saw her turn to alcohol or drugs, even because, you can be a counselor to people and have an addiction, and you can have one yourself. But but that's all I would hear her say. I would see her. She got closer to God every time something happened that was tragic in her life. That's all I would hear her say. I'm going to trust God. I'm going to pray. I'm going to lean on God. If it wasn't for God, if it wasn't for me believing in God, if it wasn't for me being saved and filled with the Holy Ghost, this is what she would say. So she was a woman who believed in the power of prayer and what prayer can do, and what it could do, but what it can do. Amen, somebody, but what it can do. So she always had a lot of faith. She always had a lot of, she always had a lot of trust in God. She used to always tell me, you got to trust in God. You got to trust in God. Don't worry about it. Trust in God. Believe in God. Pray. You got to pray. You got to pray. She constantly, she's always say that to me. Always. And I wouldn't even have the type of prayer life that I have had I not had somebody constantly telling me that. I used to say to my mother, how you get through this and how you get through that? And she'd say, girl, I'm going to pray. That was always what she would say. I'm going to pray about it. I'm going to pray about it. I'm just going to pray about it. And so I just honor her. And I give her her flowers while she's here. Because it's important that you give people their flowers when they are here, so that they are able to not only smell them, but that they are able to feel them and to plant them as well. So today is her birthday, and we're going to turn up. And Mama, if you're watching this video, happy birthday. I love you dearly. I love you from the bottom of my heart. I know I get on your nerve, girl. And I know that, I've probably been a handful all your life. But I thank you for you being the woman that you are. And I thank you for molding me into the woman that I am. Because had it not been for you, there would not be a me. I could be a lot of places and I could be a lot of things. One thing I'm grateful for is that you are all the things and then some and more. And I appreciate you. And it don't get no better than you, honey. And that's the real deal. So happy birthday, sweetheart. Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday. And girl, 81 look good on you, girl. It look real good on you. So you all, that is my video for today. So just to wrap some things up, I did not go to work today. I am having issues with my foot, so I was like, I am not gonna go. I'm not gonna stand on this foot. I don't know if they needed us to flag today or not, but being in those work boots, you know, when I was driving around, I would have an opportunity. I wasn't standing on concrete, but my foot is giving me some real issues. Some real issues. So I need to talk to, looking at the police behind me. I need to talk to my doctor about, you know, getting FMLA, you know, for, you know, the situation with my foot. So I stayed home today. I'm going to soak my foot in some Epsom salt. But really with neuropathy, there's really nothing that you can do for that, you know. Unfortunately, there's nothing that you can do. So it's no cure for it, you know. It's no cure for it. So I should be ready to go back on Monday. But my foot just, it just ache, you know. It just aches, it just throbs, it just hurt constantly. It just, you know, it just hurt. So it just hurt. And I'm going to get my hair done this afternoon, and I'm gonna stop and I haven't gotten my mother anything for her birthday. We're going thrifting tomorrow. So I was thinking about buying her something tomorrow, because I haven't bought her anything as of yet. And this is a woman that got everything, so you don't be knowing what to get her, you know. But I'm gonna find something for her. She'll find something tomorrow that she likes. So we're going tomorrow to going thrifting. So I will be showing you all, doing a video about that. I'm not a person who thrift shops, really. But my mother was like, you might find something for the house. I said, yeah. She said, oh, some jewelry. I'm like, yeah. So, because I'm going to tell y'all, I don't need another thing, okay? I don't. I really don't. I don't need nothing else. I really don't. But, you know, once again, it is what it is. You know, it is shopping. So, these police be up here at the school. Because, you know, these teenagers, you know, they get out, they get out at 1:20. They get out, they be fighting and carrying on and acting a fool and all of this stuff. So they be up here to make sure that don't nothing jump off, you know, because they do have fights up here. Y'all just don't know. I would be so glad when Christopher is done with high school. They're coming out now. I think I'm going to take his friend home. I'm not sure if his friend is coming with him. Probably so, though. I paid some bills this morning. So I got paid today. And I'm going to go up here. I want to get her some flowers and some balloons. So I'm going to go up here and see if I can get that. And, yeah, so, like I said, I don't know if his friend is coming. Oh, shoot. Move this out the way. He might be coming with him, I don't know. But they are coming out of the school. So, I hope you all had a good week. I hope you all had a good week. I hope you all had a safe week. I'm glad it's Friday. I'm glad it's the weekend, even though I didn't go yesterday and I didn't go today, but still, I'm glad it's the weekend. And I hope you all had a great week. So, again, today is Mom's birthday, and we gonna turn up, y'all. We gonna turn up. And you know, if I do a video, I'll post it. Okay, you all have a great, blessed day. And you know where I'll see you in the next CC's Fashion is My Passion YouTube video. All right, y'all. Bye.